When we were young, we used to pretend that pencils were swords, that the classroom floors were lava. But I never knew there were any actual dangers. I didn't think we'd have to fight somebody. You know, what goes around comes around. Our government sits there scratching its head and saying, gee, you know, I wonder why we're 24th in the world standings for education as it stares down a 30% dropout rate. But I stand on this stage and I wonder why. We are the most affluent country, and yet our teachers are not being paid a living wage. They are paid dirt money in one of the most important jobs in this country. And so we wonder why our educational systems are failing to educate. The United States only puts 3% of its income into education, but it turns around and puts 57% into the military alone. How can you call that caring for our educations? How can we blame 30% of our teenagers for dropping out when from a young age the government said, hey kid, you know, this is what your education is really worth to us. It's easier to leave crop system than to fight it. It's easier to pop pimples than to study because no one teaches these students how to study anymore. All the educational system can do is throw facts like they are darts and hope to make a bullseye. Just pass the test, kid. Just pass the test, kid. Just pass the test, kid. You don't need to know any of this. Just make us look good on paper. But how can they call it education? But I beg of you, if you take anything away from this, please do not blame our teachers. Because they try so hard to help the youth, but you cannot build a house with just pencils and Elmer's glue. If we didn't starve our educational system, the teachers could afford the textbooks they need, the supplies they need. They could afford to feel happy about their jobs, knowing that they can make a difference in these children's lives. We are products of an educational system that is starving. That's why it chews us up and spits us out. If we didn't pretend our schools were coin-operated, throwing a penny and dime here and there, maybe I wouldn't feel like you're making a game out of my education. You know, I always wanted to go back to that childhood belief that my educational system could support me. But I know now that it has hunger pains and its arms are too weak to hold me.